Finally, the long-awaited third part of episode 67 has come out. And I can say that this is the most legendary episode of all time. And there are a lot of secrets and details in it that you definitely didn't notice. So in this video, you will find out. What will happen to Speakerman Titan? Why did Gmail leave the scientist? Is he a real scientist or not? And also what will happen next? So be sure to watch until the end so as not to miss anything. Hello friends, you're on the channel. Subscribe to the channel and press the like button under the video to speed up the release of the next video. And let's go. The episode begins from the very moment Gmail arrived, and he wounds Cameraman. And the scientist removes his protective lens, and Cameraman begins to cut his throat. But his friend came to the rescue, and I knew that everything was fine with him, and he would help Cameraman, and I also said this in my videos. Anyway, we see how the Speakerman takes the Cameraman's hand. But the Cameraman begins to cut the Speakerman, and that's crazy. But the Speakerman manages to jump away, and the Cameraman continues to cut his throat. And at this moment, we understand that this hypnosis is very strong, and the Cameraman does not control himself. We saw something similar in episode 42, where TV Man also hypnotized the parasites, and they began to fight among themselves. But where did the scientists get the same technologies? And not much later, you will find out everything. And we see that the Speakerman is again trying to save his brother, and hits the Cameraman's hand with a knife and tears it off. And at this moment, we see how the Cameraman hits himself in the head, which means that he is conscious and sees everything what is happening. But he cannot do anything. And the scientist seeing this turns on stronger purple hypnosis, the same as that of ordinary TV men. Although it seemed to me that red is the strongest. Anyway, the Cameraman is again under the control of the scientist, and the Speakerman is trying to throw the knife with the help sound wave to break the screen. But he is attacked by Gmail, and Speakerman decided to destroy Gmail, but the question is, could he? I think that the new Titan Gmail is stronger than Speakerman, but that's not the point. Cameraman begins to attack his brother, and oh my god. I really don't want to watch this, how two brothers destroy each other. But don't worry, I'm sure that everything will be fine with them. We see how Cameraman knocks Speakerman down and starts kicking him, and we see the joyful face of Gmail and the scientist. And the situation is so critical that even the POV cameraman also wanted to help the Titans, and we also see at this moment that this is a large cameraman since he holds guns with him. And he tried to destroy the scientist's screen, but the screen turned out to be very strong. And just look at this face. God, this facial expression is done perfectly. Defuk tried very hard, as if I was watching some kind of movie. But at the same time, I wanted to hit the scientist myself because his overreaction infuriates me. But what is important to note is that such powerful guns with radiation could not cause any damage to a simple TV, and don't you think this is strange? We saw in the second part of episode 67 that the scientist's body is so strong that even acid and a circular saw cannot hurt him. Did he visit Wakanda over the weekend and get vibranium there? No, really, why is he so armor-piercing? Well, probably because he's a robot, but more on that a little later. We see how the scientist's contented face began to change after his favorite TV was destroyed, and we already see how the Gmail began to shake, and since the screen was broken, Cameraman is no longer under control and he fell to the ground. Also, in this frame, we see a strange house, and a yellow light is burning in it. And the owner of the house is not embarrassed that huge transformers are fighting near his house.
Man, I'm dead.
Anyway, finally we hear the voice of our sensei, and this is what he said. Your life ends now. And after that, Gmail said, bro, I won't participate in this. We need to get out of here. And so you understand the level of the Titan TV man, that even the improved Gmail Titan didn't even try to fight, although perhaps he and the scientist had there was a 1-2% chance of winning, but Gmail ran away and left the scientist. And we can notice that Gmail has become very fast, just look at the speed. And these new accelerators are very cool, and if other mutants have them in the future, then this will be a problem. And also a little later I will tell you why Gmail left the scientist and ran away. Now the scientist was left alone, and I already thought that he wanted to escape using a teleport, but he prepared his guns and decided to try his luck. But really, why didn't he run away? He could have easily teleported. Perhaps he spent too much energy and that's why he couldn't do it. Or he deliberately stayed to find out how strong TV Man Titan is, since I already said that he is a robot, and it can be sacrificed for the sake of rating TV Man Titan. I give TV Man 99 out of 10, but how many will give Scientist and how much will you bet? Write about it in the comments. Anyway, the Scientist has prepared his weapon and is ready to fight. And we can also notice that he has a new weapon that he has not used before. He had acid, he also had a laser. But now these are missiles, but they did absolutely no damage to the TV man. But let's take a closer look at his design. We see that he is very similar to this TV man which Defuk showed us not long ago, namely 2 screens on the sides. He also looks like this TV man who was in the fan animations. We also see that he has a purple blade as well as a small TV below the core. And also his core has become darker, which means it is now on much stronger. We also see what looks like a double protective screen. And this is very cool, and it also seems to me that he has become very huge. And now I officially give him the title of Gym Boss. And he is now the strongest character in the series, and he is the real Giga Chad we needed. He also said something here. But I'm not 100% sure that's exactly what he said. So write your versions in the comments. Anyway, TV Man destroys the scientist's tentacles with one blow. And we also see in this frame the speaker man who is observing the situation. And he decided not to help the boss of the gym, since it is clear that the scientist does not have a single chance of winning. And we also see that a knife is sticking out of the scientist's screen. Although earlier it seemed to me that it was a shot, and which means that the TV man has a knife and he throws them quite accurately. And we see how he destroys the scientist's TV with one blow, and begins his disco, and we see how screens poked out of his head, and at the end they went back in and he said something again. And it also seemed amazing to me that he was still alive, although not for long. And TV Man deals a powerful blow to the scientist's head, but he also survived it. And TV Man begins to collect energy in his core, and just look at how well everything is done and beautifully. Defuk clearly needs to get an Oscar. And TV Man fires a powerful violet beam into the scientist's head and pierces right through it. And TV Man again says something. And TV Man shows us his signature emoticons, and this is where the episode ends. And now let's move on to the theories. What will happen to the speaker man and the cameraman? Everything is simple here. They are very wounded, but I assure you that none of them will die. This was not the final battle, and now it is not time to die. But in the future, maybe someone will die. Also, before the release of part 1 of episode 67, I already predicted that there would be 3 parts, and also that the cameraman would be saved, so I think now we can build theories. So we dealt with the Titans, everything will be fine with them. But why did Gmail run away and leave the scientist? In fact, the answer is obvious. This is not a real scientist, but a robot, and that's why Gmail left him. He said something like, "You're not real anyway, and I don't want to risk my life for a fake, just look at this Giga Chad, we can't defeat him." And I'm sure that a real scientist would definitely run away because he values himself too much. Something like this. But what will happen next? Friends, I now have a million theories about what will happen next. And as always, I will make another video or even 2 videos about that, what will happen next. And I will also tell you in more detail about the robot scientist, about the Titans, about Gmail, and also what will happen next. So if you want a continuation, let's get 30,000 likes and I will immediately release this video. And you were on that channel, and see you.